Oh hey, how's my hair look? What's up everyone? My name's Colin and today I decided to start a vlog. This is something I've been meaning to do for a long time, and it's honestly the hardest part about being a freelance artist. Keeping your Instagram up to date, your website, all YouTube, everything that comes, I'm trying to upload Pinterest and Etsy and just, there's so many things, and a vlog is just something else that I just let... Laundry's done. A vlog is just one more thing that I let fall through the cracks. But I think it's important to kind of get to know me and my personality through video. So I'm going to try to be better about it. I'm going to try to keep the internet world up to date on what Colin and Calamic Photography are doing. So this is my first vlog, and what a better time to start. About 2 weeks ago, I was lucky enough to join former NBA and WNBA players on a tour around the military bases of Oahu. What? I can't even believe that I did that. It's crazy. The USO flew Ray Allen, Kevin Ollie, Roy Hibbert, Don Nelson, and Taj McWilliams-Franklin out to Hawaii to meet service members of all the branches out here. Basically, they wanted a videographer and a photographer to join the crew or the entourage and capture moments that the players experienced while they were on this tour. Essentially what I did was I grabbed my gear and I hopped in a van with these legends and followed them around for 3 days as they were basically treated like royalty. Surreal experience. We got to tour a C-17, then we got to take a private captain's tour of all of Pearl Harbor and around Ford Island. We got to see the USS Arizona up close, the USS Missouri, all the sunken ships. We got to go on the Marine Corps base in the super secret submarine training center. All these crazy things that I didn't even know existed on the island, but it was super cool. In the days leading up to it, I was working with bigwigs in the USO and the NBA. Like the head of entertainment for NBA was calling me. I was on conference calls with all these coordinators. Essentially, my goal was to not let any of them know that I've never done anything like this before. And I believe I was pretty successful. So besides all the cool things that we did over the 3 days, I just kind of want to give you a little insight into how I was feeling and how I prepared and all that stuff, right? So in the days leading up to this, keep in mind, I've never done anything like this. So the days leading up to this, I was talking to all the NBA bigwigs and everything like that, trying to get some guidance about what they wanted, right? So the goal of having me there was to capture content, and this is all I knew, okay? They didn't tell me anything more than this. They wanted me to capture content of the players interacting with the service members so that they could splice it together and create a 1-minute journalistic style segment to be aired during Game 4 of the NBA Finals. So the first day I focused on B-roll, and I focused on talking to service members and just kind of capturing interactions between players and service members. So those 3 things I focused on, and I overshot completely. I had, I think, 60 gigabytes of video content after 1 day. So I'm trying to figure out a way to upload 60 gigs using my Army barracks room internet connection to the servers in Washington, D.C. And it took me all night. And so when they finally got the footage early in the morning, they were a little disappointed that I didn't get any commentary from the players. Essentially, they told me that day 2, I need to focus on the players. So this caught me by surprise. I've never done an on-camera interview in my life. I've never done an interview in my life. I've never asked questions. I don't know what to ask these players. I'm not even an NBA fan. Like, what am I gonna ask these players? So I'm freaking out, coming up with all these questions, and luckily the USO tour director was on the email traffic between the NBA and myself and was helping me facilitate these interviews. So, she didn't help me give the interviews, but she helped find me time for these interviews. So we show up to the gas station on the Marine Corps base and we're there 5 minutes early. So Tracy, the USO tour director, turns to me and says, "You've got 5 minutes, grab a player and go interview them." I'm like, my camera's still in my trunk. So I'm grabbing things, I'm trying to run settings, turning on the microphone, checking exposure, adjusting all this stuff. Grab Taj and we go find a blank empty wall in the shade so that there's no harsh lighting on her face. And, you know, right as we're about to start the interview, a giant truck goes by.
Oh, here's a huge truck.
Oh.
And, you know, there's people clanking their pumps. And it's just too much to worry about, so I just stop worrying about it, you know. Turn on the camera, I start filming, and it goes really well. She takes control. She's absolutely amazing. She just starts talking.
We love our
It's
service.
beautiful. As you can see in the final video, they use a lot of her footage because she's just an outgoing, beautiful human being. So I finished my first interview, my first ever on-camera interview. I finish it, and I'm just relieved. I'm getting a little confidence, you know. I'm like, okay, 1 player down, 4 to go. After that, I hop in the van with the players, and we head to a basketball court in a Marine Corps gym, where I find myself with another 5 minutes. So I grab Coach Kevin Ollie and take him to the corner of the basketball court, which was really tough because overhead lighting, boomy walls, people banging basketballs on the court. But whatever, I gotta do this. So I set him up, I point the camera at him, and I start asking him questions. And like the true professional he is, he takes over. You know, he responds very well to all the questions I ask. So I finished him, I finished Taj, I got 2 interviews under my belt. And we're on our way to lunch. We get to the venue, we're walking in. I look up at Ray Allen and I say, Ray, the NBA will murder me if I don't get a snippet from you. We can either do it right now or we can do it after lunch. And he looks, he thinks, and he says, let's do it right now. So, right in the entryway to the restaurant, I have a couple Marines block it off. And I turn on my camera and I start rattling off questions. And there we go. Now I've got 3 interviews under my belt. If nothing else happens, that will be enough content for the NBA. I'm so relieved. So we finish out the day, and previously the NBA had asked me to go interview Coach Don Nelson, who's the winningest coach in NBA history. He has the most wins of any coach. I work with the NBA. They send me some questions they want me to ask about some upcoming Hall of Fame vignettes that he is going to be participating in. So after the day is over, I go over to Don Nelson's Waikiki hotel room, and I enter his hotel room by myself, just me and him and his wife, and I sit down with him, I go over the questions, we talk for about 10 to 15 minutes, I leave him and his wife with the questions, and they keep talking about them. And I just destroy his room. I move the bed, I move the couch, I move the lamps, you know, I move everything. I move pictures off the walls, and I use this one Best Buy light that I bought for one side of his face, and the other side of the face, I used his lanai window. And honestly, I didn't realize it at the time, but it created some beautiful catch lights in his eyes. So we sit down, I do the Don Nelson interview, it goes great. Everything with the camera work. I put Don's room back together and I take off for the day. I head home and I start uploading content. You know, I got to get this to DC as soon as possible so that they can start working on the piece. So I'm finally able to relax. I've done all these player interviews. I've captured all the footage I'm going to get. I finished the Don Nelson interview. Now I'm finally able to sleep. So I get some rest. The next morning is very chill. We set up for a live look-in at the USO, and then they ran the segment, which was about a minute long, which I'll play right now. So here's the segment that I created for the NBA and the USO that was aired during Game 4 of the 2019 NBA Finals. Check it out.
One of my favorite quotes is, a man has to be willing to plant a tree whose shade he'll never sit under.
Morning, welcome to Hawaii. How are you?
A lot of people have given their lives for us to be able to come to this base and to celebrate the heroes of our past.
They don't get a chance sometimes to see us in person. So to get a personal connection is special.
My mother and father were both in the military, and my husband is retired from the Army, so when I heard about this opportunity, I was like, first up, hand up, please let me come and just share my heartfelt thanks. This is awesome!
It was just an honor spending time with our military.
How's it going?
Nice to meet you. I thank the NBA, I thank the USO for giving us this opportunity to give back. It was something that I'll never forget.
We love our servicemen and women!
Thank you for watching this whole video. Hopefully they get better in the future. Peace out. Peace out. I'll see ya when I see ya. Smell ya later.